Hi folks, this is your MWIS Planning Outlook with our latest longer range thoughts. High pressure is expanding its way in across the country and a settled spell of weather is on the cards for this week ahead. We'll see generally warm, sunny conditions and light winds commonly in the forecast. We'll have some areas of low cloud and fog, but overall it's a very dry picture. Saturday starts off with some of those low cloud banks, but that will thin and disperse through the morning to give sunshine increasingly widely. We'll have an easterly breeze across Wales and the South Pennines, and that will be a feature of conditions in the days ahead as well, with some rather gusty conditions in this part of the world. Now, temperatures are set to remain on the warmer side through the days ahead, particularly across more western regions, with the warmest of the temperatures in the valleys and the glens widely getting to the mid-20s by the afternoons, and temperatures on the hills typically well into the mid-teens. The hills will be warmer than some of the valleys early in the morning. Some cooler air will just eventually start to drift in from the northeast, so some of those more northern and eastern hill groups, increasingly as the week goes on, will trend that bit cooler. Now I'm just going to show you this chart, which is one of the model maps that we use, and this represents cloud and cloud at different heights in the atmosphere. The red colours is very low cloud, even fog at low elevations, and the various pale shades of blue represent very high level wispy cloud, but it's the red colours that we'll be just interested in for a few days forwards. And this is first thing on Sunday morning, and by and large Sunday is a sunny day with clear skies for most places. Some fog around northeastern coasts of Scotland, some sea har in this part of the world may just linger on, and that fog around some of the glens draining eastwards first thing, and that might take a few hours if not all morning to disperse around some of the eastern coasts here, but overall it is a clear story. Just a little bit of patchy fair weather cloud develops over the Highlands by the afternoon. If we roll the story on though through into Sunday night and Monday, just notice how the red colour over the North Sea just fills in, expands and starts to drift further westwards on that strengthening easterly breeze as we head through to dawn on Monday. So Monday morning could well see a fair extent of low cloud and fog covering much of the eastern portion of Scotland and around the Moray Firth, and more extensively into Pennine areas, possibly even East Wales as well. This area of low cloud and fog is likely to be low down enough so that the mountain tops poke out above it. So under high pressure we have inversion conditions in place, and higher mountains broadly will be above that, even maybe some middle hill slopes. It could just be that fog and low cloud is confined down towards the glens, particularly in Scotland where here pressure is highest. Where the breeze is a bit stronger over England and Wales, that low cloud deck could just get lifted a bit higher up onto the hills. So Monday morning could be a rather misty, cloudy and dull picture around the Pennines and Peak District, for example, but skies become clear widely across Scotland and across Wales, northwest England as well. Similar story will likely take place into Tuesday. The blue colours just to the south incidentally shows an extent of high cloud across Wales and very near to southwest Wales. This might just be thick enough for a local burst of rain, but for the most part that is away further southwest. Once again, some low cloud will get drifted in across the country from the east through into Tuesday morning, and a similar picture with eastern hills seeing areas of low cloud and fog. And as pressure maybe has just fallen a little bit by this stage, we've not quite got the inversion level the same, so it might well be the cloud sheet is higher up on the hills in Scotland and really only just the very highest mountain tops trying to poke through. Even that level of cloud is some uncertainty at this stage, and I think as time goes on that will tend to thin and break, but just be aware of Tuesday perhaps being a cloudier day, covering some hill slopes for longer across the Highlands. That's where we are on the pressure chart by that stage. The high has just retreated a bit further northwards across to the north of Scotland, and that east-northeasterly drift is evident more widely. Something of a rather gusty breeze in places around some higher tops through some elevated passes, and locally downslope as well toward the west of high ground. Best of sunshine in the west, warmest in the west, coolest in the east, and overall though it does stay dry. So with no rain in the foreseeable outlook, do bear in mind the ground conditions are extremely dry, and that fire risk is unfortunately very high, and that will be the case really I think over the next week to 10 days at least. This settled pattern then is persistent for the week. That's the 7-day pressure anomaly, and high pressure is stationed toward the north-northwest. It's a blocked weather regime. It stops weather systems coming in from the Atlantic. Does open the door though to that cooler northerly flow, and I think through midweek and onwards that much chillier feel could be evident, particularly across the north and east of Scotland. Temperatures back down into single figures across the mountains. In terms of any changes, one thing that we're just watching for then is what happens around the tropical Atlantic. And this is the chart from the National Hurricane Center over in the States. And there is Hurricane Erin, which is developing into a major storm system and due to skirt the eastern seaboard of the United States, heading towards the middle of next week. Why does that matter? Well, a week or 10 days down the line, that storm system could have some role to play in our eventual weather pattern in the later stages of August. This is by next Saturday, the 23rd, and that deep area of low pressure shown just to the left-hand side of Newfoundland is what will be the remnants of that hurricane. Likely then to move its way into the North Atlantic. Whether it moves more towards Greenland or more towards us, very hard to predict at this time. These storm systems do this sort of journey often at this time of year, and it becomes quite a complicated situation for predicting where the pattern will go. But many indications are just starting to show a general lowering of pressure as we head onwards into the later stages of August, something at least indirectly with that storm system in mind. This chart then shows us some bluer colours, which indicates lower than average pressure may be affecting us by this time. And again, this is quite uncertain how soon a possible breakdown occurs. Very open to question at this time. But that's the average for the 7 days up until the 1st of September. And that would then indicate something more unsettled, a greater risk of some rain at times. So a deterioration in the weather regime at that stage, and that may well take us also into the start of September with indications favouring lower than average pressure, so the potential for a more widely unsettled period a couple of weeks or so down the line. In the short term though, lots of dry and often sunny weather in the forecast. All your local details for 3 days ahead every day on our website. That is your planning outlook for today. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.